And you are live.
We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Our clerk will read the roll.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Holland.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Mosley.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
All members are present.
At this time, we will be led in prayer by Councilman Freeman. Immediately following our prayer, we're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Amobian.
Okay, thank you, President Somerville. We'll go ahead and pray together. God, we're reminded of the word of the psalmist when he said, what is man that thou art mindful of him? And we do stop and ponder and wonder, such insignificant creatures as ourselves, why you would take time and you would pause and you would stop and you would give us your full attention and even your own life. And we just thank you for that. Thank you that we can say without a doubt that you are love and that you know us well and that you have determined and you have seen to it that your favor shines upon us. God, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so sometimes your thoughts are higher than our thoughts, but we know that in the end you can be trusted. Bless us tonight as we go about the business, the city that you've called us to, and we thank you for it in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Are there any additions or corrections? Councilman Fusco?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Can we get a second, Councilwoman Connor?
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Holland. Holland.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Mosley.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The minutes passed 12-0 with one abstention.
Before you have a copy of the consent agenda, motion to approve. Councilman
Motion to
Fusco?
approve. Motion to approve.
Can we get a second, Councilwoman Mosley?
Second.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Holland.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Abstain.
Mosley.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes 12-0 with one abstention.
We do have one public hearing scheduled for this evening. Our clerk will read in item number 1.
Sure, we do have a few people coming in from the waiting room. Notice is hereby given that the following public
Alicia
hearing
Lee
will be held by the
joined the
Council of
meeting.
City of Akron on Monday, January 24th, 2022, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a type A daycare home at 1363 Diagonal Road.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Alicia Lee is requesting conditional use approval to establish a type A daycare titled Shawnee's Angels at this location. This will allow daycare services for up to 12 children. The rear yard play area will be fenced in. There is ample room for drop off and pickup of the children. Daycare services is beneficial to this neighborhood and the entire city. And as such, Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to the conditions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. At this time, we're going to ask all those wishing to speak either in favor or against.
Sheila, join the meeting.
Be sworn in by a member of our law department.
Yes. Would those wishing to testify during this public hearing, please take yourself off of mute and please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? If so, please answer, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think we'll start with our petitioner, Alicia Lee.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Alicia Lee. I'm the owner of Shawnee's Angels LLC Daycare. We are actually up and running already. We are a type B, which is 6 children or less at a time. So we are up and running. I know once before we had some people that had some negative things to say as to why the daycare shouldn't be in the area. But one of those participants' granddaughters came to sign up. She said it was just perfect. Her grandmother lived around the corner and her mother was taking care of her grandmother. But it's a great area. We're 24 hours. So we have people that work in hospitals. I have a lot of moms that work hospital hours. Traditional daycares, they don't stay open late, or they may work 12-hour shifts or weekends, which a lot of our parents work in hospitals and, our first responders. So we're open to them and they can feel safe and know that their kids are taken care of. We've been open for about a month now. We haven't really had any issues due to weather. We haven't been able to take the children outside, but we are fenced in. We don't go out front because it is a busier street. So we just stay in the back area. That's where the children will be. But we haven't had anyone so far complain or call the police on us or anything, to my knowledge.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mrs. Lee. I know that we have some other individuals who did sign up to speak against this ordinance. I'm going to refer to my clerk to see if those individuals are in the room.
Sure, we did have one person join the meeting, Brenda Collier. Brenda, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you so much, Brenda. You can go ahead and bring forth your comments.
The only comment I have, I don't mind the daycare being in the area, but I thought I was living in a residential area and not a business area. And that's my only comment about it. Is this still a residential area or has it been zoned as a business area?
Okay. So, Mrs. Collier, thank you so much. And we'll make sure that we reach out to you and we'll be able to answer those questions for you, okay?
All right, thank you.
You are so welcome. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor or against this ordinance at this time?
Madam
Okay.
President, we had 2 other people that signed up, but they have not joined the meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to close our public hearing at this time. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Baylor?
Aye.
Hunter?
Aye.
Kamer?
Aye.
Mosley?
Aye.
The wishes of the committee is to refer this item, please.
Okay, thank you so much. This item will be referred. At this time, we will move into our old business. Councilman Fusco, what is your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
Time on the balance.
Okay, so time will be granted. Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
On the agenda.
So time on your old business, right?
Time on the agenda.
Okay, so time on your, on housing as well. Gotcha.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilman Neal.
yeah. I tried to reach Mr. Fusco. Mr. Fusco, I don't know if you got my text. I was on another call. That item has sat for a month now. I've only gotten one question from one member of council, and that was answered. I'm assuming everyone else read the proposal that was drafted by a member of our planning department. So with us having $400,000 slated on our capital budget for demo, I'd like for us to be able to answer any questions so that we can move forward on this on this resolution. Just get the resolution. Again, it's just a resolution, but there are community partners that are willing to move forward and work with council if that be council's desire. Again, I haven't gotten any questions from anyone. I don't know if everyone's read the proposal. Mr. Fusco's one concern about, folks that graduate from technical schools and whatnot is actually outlined and drafted in the proposal as it lies right now. So that issue is addressed within the proposal. And of course, as we know, it's a resolution. As we draft the ordinance, we can adjust it in any kind of way that we so see. So we're a month in, haven't heard anything from anyone. So would like to answer any questions at this time, unless the chairman wants to take one more week. But as I stated, I haven't heard from anyone with any concerns regarding the proposal. So I'm assuming everyone's read the proposal as outlined by our planning department and doesn't have a problem with it.
Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I would request one more week. I did receive your text at 6:51 and give everybody an opportunity to review it, ask their questions, and then we could address it next Monday.
Okay, I would like to move on it next Monday. Don't know if you guys have been reading what's in the paper in regards to the impact of that's hit many communities in regards to housing. We passed the legislation here understanding the impact of student loan debt on college graduates. We can't control what the federal government does, but we can, gives us an opportunity to directly control what impacts our community. And like I said, I've got some information I can share where residents have spoken about the adverse impact of us tearing down not one, not two, not three, but 4 or 5 homes on one block, and they feel left alone. Many of those homes could have been saved and passed on to folks through a program such as this, not just to help that individual start to build generational wealth, but to help stabilize our neighborhoods as well. So I would appreciate us moving forward next Monday.
Noted, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So that concludes our old business. We'll now move into new legislation.
Item number 1, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an electronic message center sign at 560 East Talmadge Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
For an advertised for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 2, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a Tractor Supply Company store at 1977 Buckholzer Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
For an advertised for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 3, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A daycare home at 986 Raymond Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
For an advertised.
This item will also be referred for public hearing.
Item number 4, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the deputy mayor for integrated development or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with the Board of Education of the Akron Public School District for the Community Learning Center's Akron After School Program in order to provide learning enrichment activities and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
For.
This item will also be referred.
Item number 5, offered by Mosley, ordinance determining to proceed with the improvement of Copley Road between the termini of Mercer Avenue and Turgonia Drive, South Maple Street between the termini of Turgonia Drive and Glendale Avenue, Manchester Road between the termini of East Avenue and Wilbeth Road, and East Avenue between the termini of Vernon Odom Boulevard and Manchester Road by resurfacing and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Mosley.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee is requesting consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 6, offered by Mosley, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract or contracts for the relocation and construction of a new Akron Fire Station number 12 located at 112 South Hawkins Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Mosley.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee is requesting suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This legislation will allow for Fire Station number 12 to be relocated and rebuilt in the Wall Haven footprint, and we're asking for its passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor, roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Holland,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Mosley,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 7, offered by Freeman, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an amendment to the master meter agreement with the County of Summit and other master meter communities, amending and/or supplementing Title V, Public Works, Chapter 50, Sewers, Section 50.22, Sewer Service Charges of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Akron to amend sewer service charges for all master meter customers and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilman Freeman, we can't hear you.
The municipalities that are around us that are involved in our master meter program, this will allow us to adjust the sewer rates. And most of their councils have met and already approved these rates. And with that, we're asking for its passage.
Okay, thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor, roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Holland,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Mosley,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 8, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to enter into a contract or contracts with Pierce Manufacturing Incorporated for the purchase of one Pierce fire pumper truck and one Pierce 75-foot aerial ladder truck and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable and we're asking for suspension of the rules, please.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. This is for the city to move forward with the purchase of 2 new fire trucks to continue to replace our old fire trucks that are in service. Thanks.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor, roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Holland,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Mosley,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Okay. Thank you so much. That concludes our new legislation for this evening. We'll now go to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. Just going to ask our council clerk to let us know when our participants are in the room.
Sure, they are coming in now. We have several people here tonight for the public comment period. If you could please make sure that your video is on and that you can unmute for a moment. Thank you.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to begin with our public comment period. I'm just going to ask that everyone who wishes to bring forth remarks tonight, that you are first sworn in by a member of our law department.
Okay, with those wishing to make comments tonight, please take yourself off mute for a moment and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? If so, please answer I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. So at this time, we're just going to ask that you state your name. We want to also remind you that you will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. And we want to also let you know that this is an official meeting. So we want to make sure that your remarks are germane to council business and that we're making no personal attacks, and anyone who breaches decorum will be removed from the live. So at this time, we'll start off with, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Mr. Paudel.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Mr. Vinod Paudel. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. Go ahead. You can proceed with your comments.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Council President and respected council members, for giving me this opportunity. I'm so much feeling grateful having this opportunity to speak something about me. Actually, I'm a filmmaker from Nepal. And recently I just made a film which was officially submitted for Oscar Award from Best Foreign Language from Nepal. And it was critically acclaimed. And I'm normally known as a pioneering filmmaker in Nepal. And now I'm making a film in Akron. And it's been like 3 years. I've been researching this subject matter. I'm making a film about the Bhutanese community. As far as I know, that Bhutanese community, they speak Nepali language, and more than 65,000 people speaks Nepali language in Ohio. And this is the film about them. And I'm so much affected, so much, I have an emotional attachment with the Akron city, because before 3 years, I was here and I just saw one of the building, the Rubber City abandoned building. It was the winter season. And when I came to Akron Hill, and I just found that so many immigrants are cheering themselves, and so many cultures and languages are welcomed.
Join the meeting.
And I was so much attached with the culture and languages that been attracted in this Akron city. And I decided that I'll make a film about them. And now I'm ready to make a film, and it's been 7 months. I've been making my pre-production. And thank you very much. Phil Lombardo is here, who's helping me for all of the requirement that I really need from the city of Akron. And I'm very much thankful to Bhutanese community, Nepali speaking community, and Akron city itself. And I'm so much grateful that I've been welcomed here so, humbly, and people are so loving. I'm here just to let you know that I'm making a film about this community, and especially I'm so much attached with Akron International, which has given by I don't know who, but which is very good name for the city, which reflects that so many immigrants are welcomed here. And for this, I have a little bit of concern. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong to putting my statement here. Actually, I have like to, I'm an indie filmmaker, so I make a film by my own money. I don't have any like source of fund, but I'm making this movie and I'm releasing this movie all around the world, like Sundance Film Festival. I'm approaching in France, Cannes Film Festival, and so many film festival around the world. But the thing is, I really don't have like so much resources. Recently, I mean,
Excuse me,
some
you've
of
reached
my
your time limit.
sorry. Thank you.
Listen, thank you so much for sharing. And we'll make sure that we get in contact with you, and maybe there's something that we can do in terms of, pointing you in the right direction for your question. Okay. So thank you so
very
much. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Christine Davis.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Madam Chair and council members, my name is Christine Darcy Davis. My address is 674 Shocklog Road, Akron, 44320. And I reside in Ward 8. First and foremost, I'd like to take the opportunity to just thank you all for serving on council. It's not an easy job, I know this, particularly during a pandemic. So again, I thank you. I'd also like to thank council for previously approving $155,000 for the purchase and installation of 28 temporary speed tables. And I understand that due to supply issues, installation of those have been delayed, but will hopefully begin sometime this year, which is wonderful. I was surprised, however, to learn that the 2022 capital budget does not include a line item for traffic safety intervention. And I feel that we are at a turning point here for traffic calming and pedestrian safety in the city of Akron. We've already made this initial investment, which shows that decision makers, you have heard us, the residents, and that the problem can no longer be ignored. And I just humbly request, don't let this momentum burn out now. More than ever, our Akronites are trying to take back their streets through walking, cycling, running. We purchased our home on Shocklog back in 2016, fully aware that there were no sidewalks. However, we weren't aware that the average speed limit on our 25-mile-an-hour road was over 45 miles an hour. We have 2 small children. They're not allowed to play in our front yard because of it. When the weather is nice, we take our kids on a walk. We walk 300 feet from our house to the next neighborhood over that has sidewalks, and it's a scary 300 feet. We've almost been hit several times. We now trudge through people's front yards. I've been yelled at. Someone even threw trash at me. It's incredible. The problem here is that our neighborhood streets weren't built for vehicles at the speed that they currently go. And many of our neighborhood streets weren't built for pedestrian traffic. While we can't dig up the roads and start over, there are options to effectively and economically alter them, and not at the cost of hundreds of speed tables. I know this because I happen to be a certified city planner, and I'm the executive director of the Ohio chapter of the American Planning Association, which I urge all of you to come to some of our events. I'd be happy to help you out. I'm passionate professionally, personally about pedestrian and vehicular safety, the concept of complete streets and the many links it has to public health, that I'm willing and able to provide pro bono service to help our engineering department, our planning and economic development department to brainstorm and trial economical traffic calming measures that can be easily implemented citywide, either by community groups or by the city. So please keep the momentum going that you've started. Help us take back our streets. Let the city of Akron be a nationwide example of good neighborhood planning. Please include a line item for traffic calming in your 2022 capital budget. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine, for sharing. Thank you. Brenda Justice.
Brenda Justice, 885 Glen Street, Ward 4. Good evening, President Somerville and Akron City Council. This evening, I am here to ask you to take in consideration naming Frederick Boulevard after Ophelia Everett. She has been known for, as many of you know, for her involvement with the NAACP. As the president, locally, also she has affiliation with the state and with and national as well. I believe that she is a very important product of our community. She is a legacy of Akron and a source of so much knowledge, which is so very, very, you don't find that much, because much of our history is gone right now with some of the people that we've had. She is an advocate for the rights of others. She takes time for others. Even what you see out in front and those things that you see, you don't see. And she's very passionate about the things that she does. And I'm not one to waste any time or anything like that, but I just think that she is an icon for us, and she is a woman with a cause and one of our unsung heroes. And it's nice to give flowers before they leave. So, and I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Justice, for sharing. Thank you for those comments.
You're welcome.
Monica Sales. Monique Sales, I'm sorry.
Madam President, it doesn't look like she joined the meeting.
Okay. Edmika Minter.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amika. I am the president of the Erickson Tenant Union. I am here to speak on the behalf of the Erickson and Wilbur tenants. The tenants not only pay rent to KMG and Redwood, we pay for rodent and pest control, while at the same time paying our city our tax dollars just for them to have us live in this inhumane way. On a Zoom call, KMG told me that the tenants are going to continue to live this way because they would lose out on millions of taxpayer dollars. The fact that these complexes were sold without being inspected upon MHA selling them is a problem. The fact that KMG and Redwood are being sued by tenants and companies in multiple cities and states should have been a red flag. The tenants should be placed in safe, habitable housing, KMG and Redwood, until KMG and Redwood can get the complexes up to code. The city should speak on our behalf. KMG and Redwood should be held accountable for the way they have treated the families and children living in these complexes. Because tenants don't deserve this and didn't choose it, KMG and Redwood chose it for us. Communities are being failed by their city superiors by not speaking up and following through on demands. HUD still funding them is enabling them to continue to put these tenants' lives at risk in mental and physical illness. Therefore, HUD should revoke vouchers and stop funding KMG and Redwood because housing is a right. We have shown all the proof and taken all the right actions on complaints about these complexes being uninhabitable. It's time for our city and state officials to speak up and do their parts by standing by the tenants and holding these slumlords accountable and make a change. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Minter. Nick Cassiopo.
Madam President, he has not joined the meeting.
Okay. Kiana Winchester.
Hi, my name is Kiana Winchester, and I am part of Freedom Block. I live at 1125 Erickson. I'm part of the tenant union here. And I agree with Amika. HUD pay a lot of funding for us to stay here. A lot of us can't afford to live in regular housing, or a lot of us are older and it fits more of their living situation. But at the same time, KMG and Redwood, we have spoke to them. We tried to go to them and do everything the proper way. We have got nothing but disrespected. We have got no respect. We gave them all respect in the world, but we have none in return. I fought HUD too because they're not taking responsibility for where their money goes. They don't look into what they're doing. They pick and choose what apartments they go to. They sent out utility letters to everyone and come to find out they only went in a couple of apartments. That's not fair. How do you know what really needs to be done if you don't go through all of them? I live here. It's a mental thing with me and my children. You can't call the office if you have emergency after hours. You call the number, they don't answer. That's even if you can get through to the number. We explained this to KMG, and we also have explained this to Redwood since they have stepped into play. I have children. I'm a single mom. I have it hard enough for me, but not to worry about that my home is my safe haven. But how can it be my safe haven if I'm not safe, if I don't feel safe, if my children don't feel safe? They have the sheriffs up here, but what difference do it make when the sheriff come and they still shooting? They were shooting at the corner of my building. I live in a corner apartment. They were shooting right outside of my building. 2 cars down, my kids and my son and my niece have found a gun shell. That's not safe for me or anyone else. That's not fair. But y'all yet have the sheriff up here, but what good is the sheriff if they're not here all the time? If they're not here 24/7. They was here in the daytime, and then an hour or two later after the sheriffs left, that's when they shot. They emptied out 2 gun clips. They could have harmed whoever was in our house on top of whatever neighbors. That's not fair. And I feel as a resident, as attended, as a person, that I deserve the respect that I need, that I give out myself. So with that being said, I thank you for you guys having me here and inviting me to this council meeting.
Thank you so much, Ms. Winchester, for sharing those remarks. Mr. Coker?
Good evening. My name is Ali. I'm from Ward 5. So I just wanted to bring to attention, first off, again, medical marijuana has grossed about $650 million as of the end of last year. And it's still not quite clear what they are doing or plan to do with the tax money. And I've researched it, but I haven't been able to get in contact with anyone as far as the details on the tax revenue. And an article from the Ohio Capital Journal reported that Ohio has the potential to collect around $220 million annually in tax revenue if Ohio were to legalize. And I've seen bills being created for regulating adult use. So I believe that there should be a true social equity clause created within it, and a portion of the tax revenue should go to the low income communities that have been affected by the enforcement of the previous laws, especially with this housing crisis going on in these areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Coker, for sharing. Thank you. This concludes our public comment period for this evening. We want to thank all of those who participated. And we do want you to know everyone who gave a comment and had questions, we'll make sure that we get answers to those questions for you. We'll now move into our committee assignments. Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
1 o'clock.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
1:45.
Public Utilities and Green Committee, Councilman Freeman.
2:45.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
3:15.
Public Safety, Councilman Kamer.
2:15.
Public Service, Councilwoman Mosley.
2 p.m.
And Rules, Councilman Freeman.
Subject to call.
Okay. Is there anything else coming before council at this time? While we have hands going up, I just wanted to take an opportunity just to give a big thanks and congratulations to Akron City Council on our COVID test distribution a couple weekends ago. It was great, and I have to say the event would not have been possible without all the help from Dr. Jones, who helped Dr. Williams, who helped us with all the logistics. So we want to thank her for all of her help. We want to thank also our council clerks, Sarah and Holly, who were also out in the community volunteering. I want to thank all the council members who took lead at our distribution stations, and all other council members who came out to volunteer to pass out tests. We had city administration out volunteering with us, and just also members of the community. So again, City Council, you should really be proud. On that day, we were really a part of the solution. Members of the community who came, they were really appreciative. And so just want to thank everyone. Job well done. Councilwoman Mosley.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I want to echo what you just stated, and thank Councilman Brad McKittrick and Councilwoman at Large Ginger Baylor and Councilman Shamus Malik for weathering the storm with us over at Joy Park. It was a labor of love, and I think my hands are still defrosting. But to know that if we ever have an opportunity to do this again, the residents really did appreciate it, and we did get a lot of that. And even as we weathered the storm, everybody still was very, very respectful and nice, and the day went off without a hitch. I want to bring up what we have going on down in Columbus with the redistricting for the Ohio House and the Senate and the congressional districts. In seeing this, I know that County Council has already approved their districts. I know we are up next. I do hope that all of Council, as a collective body, will have an opportunity to have a say in our remapping of the wards, so we can make sure that it is fair to each and every one of us, because what we are seeing right now go on in Columbus is unacceptable, and the people in the state of Ohio are going to pay a price for it, and it's unfortunate. So I do hope that we all will have a say in how we remap our city, because I think what they're doing is a prime example of why we all should have a seat at the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Mosley. Councilman Freeman?
Yes, I didn't get to say anything to Mr. Luddle today, but we had a foot of snow last week, and just wanted to say big thanks to the folks in snow and ice. Never fun when we have something like that, and nerves get on edge, but at least over the 9th Ward, we were real pleased with the service that we got, and just appreciate. I think sometimes we don't realize, folks get tired when they're working that many hours, and especially in that kind of inclement weather. So just thanks to Snow and Ice for the good work I believe they did last week.
Thank you so much, Councilman Freeman. Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see Mr. Fricker's on the line, and I know we're planning we're readjusting when we're going to have our council meeting. But I would love to hear from Mr. Fricker. I don't know if folks have been following what's been happening, but municipalities understand that the way we fund our cities isn't sustainable. The property tax way of funding cities isn't sustainable. We know that with the pandemic, it brought a different way people work. And so that may be challenged on how we, so folks are looking at how do you bring in new revenue? We've got 5G coming in our communities. I know we don't have control over that, but broadband is a new interstate. It'd be great if we had a way of taxing that. But Mr. Fricker, I'd like if you could bring to us, Akron doesn't have the capacity on its own, but I think we need to be looking at this regionally and really following it. Cities like Miami, New York, they're starting to create their own cryptocurrency. Now, I don't fully understand it, but I do know that communities are moving in this direction. And it's something that I'd like for us to get educated on. Matter of fact, some municipal leaders are even starting to be paid in cryptocurrency. But we've got to look at new ways to bring in revenue into our city. I mean, I've always mentioned, I'd like to see if we give away land, that we don't give away the air rights or the mineral rights, so that we can, any potential revenue that comes in from there. But I would like to be able to hear from Mr. Fricker, when you're ready, on what are the innovative ways cities are looking at bringing in revenue, and how are they following technology, and how are they going to incorporate that in their new ways of bringing in revenue. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilman Neal. And then hopefully Mr. Fricker can get us some more information regarding that. Is there anything else coming before council at this time?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.